The most painful sentence I ever heard wasn't spoken to my face. It floated through a half-open kitchen door while I was carrying a bowl of potato salad to my granddaughter's birthday party. I stopped because I heard my own name. "I wish Grandma would stop trying so hard," my oldest grandson whispered. "She makes everyone feel guilty." I stood there, 78 years old, holding a bowl that suddenly felt heavier than my entire life. If you stay with me, I'll tell you why those 12 words forced me to question 41 years of motherhood, and why I discovered that sacrifice can quietly become another way of asking for love. I know this story better than most because I raised 3 children almost entirely alone after my husband died when I was 37. I worked 2 jobs for 19 years. I missed weddings, birthdays, vacations, and every chance to start my own life again because I believed a mother should always choose her children first. People called me selfless. Looking back, I think they confused selflessness with fear. When my husband died in 1984, our youngest daughter was only 6. Every morning I woke up at 4:45 to clean offices before sunrise. By 8:30 I was working as a receptionist until evening. After dinner I ironed school uniforms while everyone else slept. The neighbors admired my strength. They never heard me crying into folded towels because I didn't want the children to hear. Years passed like train stations flashing through a dirty window. My son graduated. 1 daughter married. The youngest moved across the country. Every achievement became another reason for me to stay busy. Whenever someone offered help, I smiled politely. "I'll manage." Those 2 words became the walls around my life. When my children insisted I move closer after retirement, I sold the little brick house where every pencil mark on the hallway wall measured someone's height. I kissed the front door before leaving. No one saw me do it. Their neighborhood was beautiful. Wide sidewalks. Fresh flowers. Large kitchens where everyone gathered on Sundays. At first, I believed I had finally earned peace. I baked pies every Friday. I watched grandchildren after school. I drove people to appointments. If someone needed anything, I arrived before they finished asking. Everyone thanked me. No one stopped me. That should have been my first warning. After 2 years, I noticed something strange. Nobody called unless they needed something. Could I pick up Emma? Could I make soup? Could I stay overnight? Could I water the flowers? I always said yes. Not because they forced me. Because I was terrified they would stop calling if I ever said no. One Christmas I spent 14 hours cooking dinner for 18 relatives. When everyone left, I washed every plate alone. My youngest daughter walked into the kitchen. "Mom, why didn't you ask for help?" I laughed. "Mothers don't ask." She looked at me for a long moment but said nothing. I wish she had. The real turning point came 3 years later. It was my great-granddaughter Lily's 7th birthday. The house was full of balloons and loud music. Children ran through the hallway while adults crowded around the kitchen island. I carried my famous potato salad toward the table. Then I heard my grandson speaking. "I wish Grandma would stop trying so hard." Another voice answered quietly. "Yeah, it's like she wants us to feel bad every time she does something." My hands began shaking. "I know she means well," my grandson continued, "but it's exhausting. She never lets anyone do anything for her." Silence. Then someone whispered the sentence that broke something inside me. "Maybe helping everyone is the only way she knows how to ask us to love her." The bowl slipped from my hands. Glass exploded across the floor. Potato salad splashed against white cabinets. Every conversation stopped. 23 faces turned toward me. No one spoke. For the first time in decades. Neither did I. That evening I drove home alone. I didn't turn on the radio. I simply replayed those words over and over. Maybe helping everyone is the only way she knows how to ask us to love her. I wanted to be angry. Instead, I realized they were right. Everything I had called love was tangled together with fear. Fear of becoming unnecessary. Fear of being forgotten. Fear that if I stopped giving, people might discover there wasn't much left worth keeping. 2 weeks later, my oldest daughter invited me to dinner. "I'll cook," she said. My first instinct was to refuse. Instead, I answered, "Thank you." She smiled in a way I hadn't seen since she was a little girl. During dinner, she reached for my empty plate. Automatically, I tried to take it back. She gently touched my hand. "Mom, please let someone love you for once." I cried harder than I had at my husband's funeral. Because I finally understood the difference between giving and receiving. Giving had become my language. Receiving felt like a language I had never learned. So I started practicing. The first lesson was tiny. When my neighbor offered homemade soup, I accepted. When my grandson insisted on mowing my lawn, I stayed inside instead of secretly doing it myself first. When my granddaughter invited me to lunch, I let her pay. Each moment felt uncomfortable. Then it felt freeing. I also began saying one small word that had frightened me my entire life. No. No, I couldn't babysit every weekend. No, I wasn't baking 6 different desserts. No, I needed one afternoon each week just for myself. Do you know what happened? Nothing. Nobody stopped loving me. Nobody disappeared. In fact, something unexpected happened. My children started visiting even when they didn't need anything. They came just to sit on the porch, to drink tea, to ask about my childhood, to hear stories I'd never told because I had always been too busy serving dessert. That's when I realized something. Service fills stomachs. Presence fills hearts. Those are not the same thing. Today I'm 82. My hands are slower. My knees complain every morning. Sometimes my grandchildren cook for me. Sometimes the dishes stay in the sink until tomorrow. The world doesn't end. Every birthday now, someone else carries the potato salad. I simply walk beside them. If you're always the strong one, ask yourself one uncomfortable question. When was the last time you allowed someone to care for you? Not because you couldn't manage, but because relationships need 2 directions. Love that only flows outward eventually becomes loneliness wearing an apron. I still think about that broken bowl. For years, I believed it was the most embarrassing moment of my life.